Teofimo Lopez said that Shakur Stevenson would lose to Devin Haney.
Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney?
I think Devin Haney.
Now look, folks, I mean, in the boxing community, it's been years of people debating of the potential fight of Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson and who will win. And I think it's been a 50-50 split. But for Teofimo Lopez to say that Devin Haney will beat Shakur Stevenson after Teofimo Lopez lost to Shakur Stevenson this past January 31st in Madison Square Garden, it opens the door to the narrative of, oh, this is the reason why you'd rather have faced Shakur Stevenson than Devin the Dream Haney. Because we all know that prior to that fight, there was negotiations of a potential fight with Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez pulled out of the negotiations. And now after Teofimo Lopez did get outclassed by Shakur Stevenson, in the scorecards, basically lost almost every round, and I was shocked. I had Teofimo Lopez winning going into the fight. I was actually shocked that it was going to be that easy. But if he believed that Devin would be Shakur, I know we don't believe in the triangle theory, but does he feel like Devin Haney was always the bigger threat? I mean, look, there are people out there that feel like Devin Haney would beat Shakur Stevenson, and there's people out there that believe that Shakur Stevenson would beat Devin the Dream Haney. I mean, that's a fight that I would have loved to see, but the argument between them and the catch weights and rehydration clause, all that BS, I think that Shakur Stevenson is great enough to go to the 147-pound division and challenge Devin Haney. I mean, if Devin Haney was a big puncher, then I will understand the catch weight, because of course in the history of the sport of boxing, even the legendary fighters was in catch weights and rehydration clause and things of that nature. Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, and such, right? And now reports saying that probably is going to be Devin Haney versus Keyshawn Davis, in which the WBO has ordered the fight. And hopefully, you know, they negotiate and come down, you know, to a good amount of money, and both of these guys are going to make some good money. I think it's a great fight, in my opinion. I think stylistically it's a great fight. But for Teo, I didn't think that he would say that Devin Haney will beat Shakur. As a matter of fact, if I was in the position of Teofimo Lopez, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he shouldn't feel like that. I mean, I wouldn't say that because of the potential narrative. And look, Shakur Stevenson did took it to X, formerly known as Twitter, and said basically that Teofimo Lopez had 100 excuses and things of that nature after the fight. In the post-fight interview, it looked like he did take his loss. And didn't have any excuse, but then, you know, surface, you know, him and IG post going back and forth with somebody, said that this is the way that he designed it and things of that nature, which left a bad taste in a lot of people that supported Teofimo Lopez, because if this is what he's designing to, or, you know, this giving the people what they wanted, meaning that he gave the haters and gave his naysayers and hecklers what they wanted, you know what I'm saying? I always say that that fighters or anybody in the world shouldn't live their life trying to prove the haters wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's about proving your supporters right, proving that God make no mistakes. And by that quote in the IG when he's going back and forth, I hope that he doesn't feel like that. But that's what he said publicly. Then he catered to the naysayers. He catered to what the haters wanted. He catered to what the people that don't support wanted, instead of giving what, you know, Madison Square Garden, sold out crowd, New York City. I mean, the stage was set for him to take over, and he just gave it away. And I know not taking anything away from Shakur Stevenson. I do believe that that it was more about what Teofimo Lopez wasn't willing to do than what Shakur Stevenson actually did. That looked just too easy, in my opinion. The Teofimo Lopez, the fought Honor Barbosa, and I know that Shakur Stevenson is not Honor Barbosa, but the approach was highly different. You know what I'm saying? The athleticism wasn't there, the power wasn't there. A lot of people wanted to use his father as a scapegoat. I don't even think so. I think that if it could have been Emmanuel Stewart, Customato, Angelo Dundee in that corner, that Teofimo Lopez mentally, in my opinion, seems like he checked out in that fight with Shakur Stevenson. Thus, what he said publicly in the IG while he's going back and forth, and the recent interview that he did, you know, I think out there in the UK, kind of gave a lot of excuses, in which I think at this point Teofimo Lopez, who I believe if his mentality is 100%, he'll beat anybody. I still believe it to this day. If Teofimo Lopez's mind is 100%, he'll beat anybody in 140, 147 pound division. If his mind is right, he could lose to guys that he's not supposed to lose to. And he got a potential fight with Rolly Romero. I think he's going to beat Rolly Romero, in my opinion. I think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be easier than how Tank beat Rolly Romero. I think he's going to outbox him or hurt him, in my opinion. He knows him very, very well. But also, like I said, the mentality, they friends. And Rolly knows a lot about Teo, maybe the positive and the negatives. Maybe he know how to pinch his nerve. And, maybe he could get to Teofimo Lopez's mentality prior to them fighting, because at the end of the day, it's not the physical. Teofimo Lopez doesn't have a problem with physical. He's a gym rat. He's always in shape. But if this ain't right, like I said, then the whole makeup of the preparation is all ambiguity, in my opinion. But he does seem like he's ready to go. Tutelage from Floyd Mayweather. He be in the TNT gym with Roger Mayweather's son. He back with Milton McCroy. His father is healthy and well. Shout out to OG Teofimo Lopez Sr. And hopefully, man, he's ready to take over like he was destined to do. But I believe him saying that Devin Haney will beat Shakur. I mean, it seems like from the outside in, if you don't know him too much or whatever, from the outside, from the surface, it seemed like, damn, you rather have taken Shakur Stevenson because you thought that Devin Haney would have been the tougher fight. Let me know what y'all think. Who do you think will win? Keyshawn Davis versus Devin Haney, because that's the fight that's going to be taking place. Who do you think is going to win? Teofimo Lopez versus Rolly Romero? And do you think that Teofimo Lopez fought Shakur Stevenson because it was an easier fight, or it was a tougher fight? Let me know what y'all think, man. Subscribe to the channel. This is Punch Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Moonshine himself. Love y'all. God bless, and on to the next.